Right.
So
Baby bunnies, how does this relate with baby squirrels? We've had occasionally gotten calls.
baby squirrels are different. Usually when we get a call for baby squirrels, they really do need help. The only time where I would say it's questionable is if there's high winds and you know the nest has come down or something. But oftentimes they're so high up, they're injured. So if you find a baby squirrel at the base of a tree and he's got blood on his nose, he needs help.
Okay.
Definitely.
What if you find him on the base of the tree and he doesn't have blood on his nose?
Then
Could he have just fallen out of the nest?
I would give him a chance, depending on if he has fly eggs on him or flies around him. I would give him a chance for the mom to come back. I would just go out of the area and give him an hour or two. And if he's still there, I would watch for more coming down, and something probably is wrong with the mom. We also have a syndrome that we call orphan behavior, where we'll have little squirrels actually run up to people and run up their legs.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah.
'Cause I've heard that sometimes they don't know to be afraid of people.
Exactly, and they don't have a mom. And if they're doing that kind of behavior, it's not good for them. And so we do take those into rehab, and you know, when they crack a hard nut shell, then they're ready for release.
Okay. So then Rhonda finds a squirrel, and she knows that it's injured or it doesn't have a mom or whatever. Does she call Wind River directly, or should she be going through the Humane Society first, or how do you like people to get in touch?
We like you to call direct, but you know, a lot of people find an animal and don't know who to call. And so, you know, call your Humane Society, call your police department, nature centers. They have lists of people that have a license. You have to have a license
To rehab those animals.
Right.
So you want to ask that, because there are some people out there who claim to be rehabbers that are not licensed, and we certainly don't want to leave an animal in the care of somebody who doesn't know what they're doing.
Right, and a lot of people, you know, that do that treat them as pets and are feeding them incorrectly, and they have no chance of
So if you really
survival.
want to rescue that wildlife, you want to make sure that it's going to a reputable rehab.
Right, and oftentimes, you know, we're always open to calls. Like I said, we get 50 to 100 calls at the height of baby season, and it's all about baby bunnies, baby ducks, baby birds. You know what to do. Shouldn't I bring him to you? I'm ready. I'm in the car. Where do you live? You know, kind of thing. And it's give me some history.
I think we all want to nurture when we have to remember that we have to sometimes let it be
it's like,
nature.
Well, they're so darn cute.
You know, it's like the diet. People always want to feed milk. I mean, I haven't ever seen a bird getting milk from a cow or an opossum or a raccoon. You know, it's like we tend to want to do what we are used to doing.
Right. Right. So
I'm gonna just,
what about our raccoon? I see
this is a chimney.
Okay, this is our pretend chimney.
Yes, and we're getting calls already about these guys. And this is Mama Raccoon, and she has found an old house. There's a tree right here, so she had just no problem climbing up this tree, getting to this chimney, going down, having babies, and she comes out at night and forages around, and the babies are in the chimney or in the furnace or whatever happens to them down there for about 8 weeks.
How do they stay in the chimney?
They're newborns. They're born in there.
Okay.
And Mama comes back and feeds them and stays with them during the day. She comes out at night. And then at 8 weeks, she starts taking these little guys out, and they start foraging.
Okay. Because of their claws and that, they can probably cling to the
They brace
side.
themselves on the inside the chimney. And if you have a really dirty chimney, it's much harder to do. But we tend to see this a lot in older houses just because the chimney is so accessible. They usually aren't covered.
And so you need to have a chimney cap or a cover on so that make it a little
and
bit
have it
less
done
inviting.
professionally. Make sure no one's in there. And
that
then
could
have
be
it done
hazardous.
professionally because it can be a hazard with gases and things.
How can you tell if you have raccoons in there? Will you hear them? Or?
Usually you'll hear some scratching or little sounds or something. We had one call, for an example, that they heard all these sounds. This older couple heard all these sounds in their furnace. And then the next night there was a little raccoon there. And so they called us, and we said that, you know, obviously you've had a mama raccoon, and she had her babies in your chimney, and at that point they were 3 weeks old, we figured. And so we explained that within 5 weeks they would be starting to forage around, and we would come back and help them. We said we would take this one because we couldn't take the furnace pipe apart without everybody falling out.
Okay.
And so we decided to take this one, and so just at the 8-week point, they called us and said, guess what? There's another raccoon that came out, and these guys are huge. And so the one we raised was pretty large, and we thought that he was going to be larger than theirs. The raccoons in that chimney couldn't get out on their own. We had to take the furnace apart to get them out because they were so big they couldn't get out of the pipe.
Oh, wow. Wow. I know that I had squirrels chewed through the roof vents of our house, and they got in our attic, and we heard this scratching in our attic. And my husband went up there, and sure enough, we had a little family of squirrels living in our attic, and that was, we live trapped them and let them out. They were all old enough to, but I had never heard of that.
When you do things like that, you have to make sure that you've sealed the area so they can't get back in. And don't remove them. If you're live trapping, release them back into the area.
We did. We put them right back in our yard, you know, so they were released in their same area. And I think that's an important thing too. I don't know if when you live trap, I have somebody that I know that they don't like chipmunks or squirrels in their yard. They'll trap them, and then they drive them across town and release them. What happens to animals when they're relocated like that?
Usually they don't survive. If you were to take an opossum, if you don't take them 10 miles away, they'll come right back.
Oh, okay, so he's got a good sense of direction.
Yes,
okay.
But if you just remove, people think they're doing the right thing, giving them a chance by live trapping them and taking them somewhere. Well, if that one doesn't come back, and it probably won't survive where it is, obviously the habitat was right for that species. You're going to get another one coming in, and you can, I mean, you could trap 150 squirrels and they'd still be coming. Right. So you have to really think things through. You have to think about not leaving garbage cans open. The habitat is right, so how can you change the habitat so you won't have these issues?
So you make sure any broken windows are fixed, any gutters maybe screened. And can people call you to find out what kind of things they can do to prevent that?
Absolutely, and we're actually kind of late already for doing some of those things because there may already be babies. So we suggest that if people can be patient, we know it can be an issue, it can be dangerous sometimes if you've got squirrels and you've got wiring that they can chew on. But if you can get the babies out and release them outside, the mom usually will take them away and then just make sure you've sealed up the house. But again, just to really think about all these things and try to do them before baby season, obviously, because otherwise you have to be hopefully patient. And
So be aware of your surroundings. So we really covered a lot.
I just have one last question, sorry. When you relocate, do they not survive because they have no idea how to find food, water, how to hide from the predators in that area? What exactly is it that makes it so hard to, or makes it wrong to relocate them?
A lot of animals are territorial. They won't allow another one in.
They can't adapt as quickly.
Right.
So, well, good. A lot of good information today. And hopefully if anybody has any questions, they can certainly call us here at the Humane Society. And if we don't have the answers, we'll direct them to Wind River, and hopefully we'll have some information on screen that people can also refer to. Again, I want to just thank both of you for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you. This was great.
Well, Joni, I hope our viewers have learned a lot about urban wildlife today, and if they have other questions, hopefully they'll give the Humane Society or Wind River a call about that. And we'll have a happy spring and summer with all of our new little baby animals. And so until next time, happy tales to you.